We're being joined by Muobike Chigbo, who has been on live over the last few weeks, really calling out the Nigerian Football Federation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Muobike. Also, we're being joined by Niyi Busari. Niyi Busari is a journalist with the International Center for Investigative Reporting. Together, these two men have been documenting what has been happening in Nigerian football over the last decade or so. But let me start with you, Muobike. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. First and foremost, why did you take it upon yourself to basically call out the Nigerian Football Federation regarding these two projects?
Thank you for having me on your show. I feel pleased being here. Thank you once more. So, for your going straight to your question and saying why I took it upon myself, I would say it's about it all boils down to my passion for the game and questioning everything that's been going on, knowing the capabilities that we have, where we are supposed to be, and putting it side by side from where we are supposed to, putting side by side where we are supposed to be and where we are. I don't know, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Please continue, we're listening.
Yeah, so putting side by side, like you just listed, everything, just this year alone, we failed to qualify for Olympics, the under-17, the under-20s, male and female, the Super Eagles, everything that's been going on. And, every time, let's say every time the Super Eagles, because the Super Eagles games is usually what grabs most of the attention of the Nigerian people. And recently they've been poor. The performances have been poor and all of that. And each time the game, they have a bad game and all of that. You see people cussing out the players, going after the players, the management and all of those things. And a couple of times I've engaged in conversations with people. I really thought that this was an open knowledge, people knew about the things that were going on, but several times I've engaged in conversations with even sports journalists, football fans and people at large, and each time I engage in conversations with them, it made me understand that people do not even know these things that have been going on. To me, I thought these things were known to people, people just knew and didn't want to were deciding to look the other way.
When you say these things, what things exactly? Sorry, Muobike, when you say these things, what things exactly specifically are you referring to?
People, for example, when I say, Nigerian football is in a bad place, we're in a bad spot, people always think it's about the players not wanting to play. Or it's the players not wanting to play or not wanting to give their all, and then bring up conversations about we have players who are talented in Nigeria back home, who want to who need the opportunity, they will come out and do the nation proud. And then this led to a whole lot of other conversations about I know that we have players that are talented, but these guys are not developed. We are not, as big as Nigeria is, Nigeria does not have a football academy. So we have the talent, but these guys are not developed. And then the conversation went on to why has this not been a discourse? Why has the nation not taken this serious? And then from there went on and started finding out that, there's been innovations about these things that we are even supposed to have, taking opportunity of. But just to find out that the people that are even supposed to be, coordinating these things and making sure that we take the best opportunities or, take these opportunities and bring these things to life, help the football space in Nigeria, help. Obviously, we know we have the talent, but the development is not there. So now, like I said, I started checking out the initiatives that the NFF have been, the measures they've been trying to take care of these things. And then that was when we now started finding out that really nothing, we thought we were in a bad place. we are worse than a bad place.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking you these questions actually is because we're also being joined by Niyi Busari. Niyi Busari is actually a journalist with the International Center for Investigative Reporting. And I know that, Muobike, you've actually highlighted two projects that are existing in Nigeria funded by by FIFA. One in Kebbi State. Yeah, FIFA Forward Programs. One of them funded in, constructed in Kebbi, and another one in Oborodo in Delta State. Those are the ones that you particularly highlighted and made a lot of people bring this to the limelight. But if we can hear from Niyi Busari. Niyi, thank you so much for joining tonight. We're wondering, what exactly are these FIFA Forward projects? Are they only specifically for Nigeria, African countries, or can anybody access it? And if that is the case, what has Nigeria done with our own share, or basically our own grants of the FIFA Forward projects?
Yes, good evening for having me, particularly for this opportunity. It's been a while that this has been happening, particularly before 2015 when Muobike came on board. The first set that happened was what we call FIFA Assistant Program, which is FAP, during the time of Sonny Lulu Abdullahi, former NFF president, as well as Aminu Megeri. During these 2 terms, I think 8 years in total, Nigeria Football Federation always saved the 250,000 per year that time, which amounts to $1 million for each of them, which was $2 million. And at that time, they told FIFA, the money was not withdrawn, and they told FIFA that they want to use it to build NFF headquarters. Don't forget, as at that time, the NFF headquarters was at Zone 7. We say Zone 7 in Abuja, which we always call Glass House. Then, though the two of them were unable to make what we call second term, so the money was there. FIFA then added 500,000 USD to make the money $2.5 million US. So that was in 2014, and in 2015, Muobike came in as the president, and few months after that time, the money was withdrawn by the NFF that time. And after we did withdraw, they couldn't account for some of the amount that money was spent on, amounting to $802,000 US. So Nigeria was banned for 2 years, from 2017 to 2016, because the investigation started in 2016, but they concluded everything. By 2017 to 2019, Nigeria was banned. And by that time, FIFA Forward 1.0 has started. It started in 2016. So we were unable to receive money from 2017 to 2019. And the FIFA Forward, the FIFA Forward 1.0 ended in 2019, in early 2019. FIFA 2.0 started. And that was what led to the Borodo and the Kebbi project. During this time, each country received $5 million US in total.
$5 million US
FIFA for the 4 years. $5 million US. Okay. By that time, don't forget that we were being banned. So we missed some part of the year, of the 4 year, before we started collecting. I think we started collecting from early 2019 till the end of 2022. And in 2021, when the foundation of the Iborodo FIFA project and the Kebbi FIFA projects were laid, they told everyone that was there and the FIFA, those who came to monitor that it will be delivered in March 2021. So it was commissioned, the Kebbi one was commissioned in 2023. However, after being commissioned, we discovered that some specifications were not involved. As you can see, what's supposed to be built in Kebbi supposed to be 5,000 capacity, meaning the seats supposed to be 5,000. And what we have there, I'm not sure it's up to 500.
I don't think it's up to 300 actually, but continue.
Yes. Again, toilets supposed to be there, dressing room supposed to be there, the floodlights supposed to be there, parking space supposed to be there. I think these are some of the specifications I'm aware of. Having said that, that's already been built, but the second one is even worse, talking about Iborodo. As we speak, that has not been completed, and from what we are seeing, we are not sure it's going to be completed. And at every session, we know now we are at FIFA 3.0, meaning all the countries, 211 association member of FIFA, have collected their FIFA 2.0, and they must have done one thing or the other with the money. But in Nigeria case, that of Igorodo has not been completed, and the person in the middle of this, I mean the contractor, is Money Sporting Construction Company. He came out by himself to lay some allegation, and the reason why it has not been completed, NFF on their side have accused him of collecting more money that is not commensurate with what he has put on the pitch to be constructed. And as it is, from what we are seeing there, I'm not sure it's going to be completed very soon, because one, the site is not suitable.
Yeah, I mean, from the videos you can see, what we hear is that the border is actually an island, so you need to move equipment, machinery, men across the high seas in order to get there. But before you proceed, Niyi, if I do recall, I think there was an audit by PricewaterhouseCoopers regarding the KB project that found that there were some discrepancies. Can you explain that?
Yes, that was in 2015 when the money was withdrawn, like I said before. Then in 2016, they set up an inquiry, PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, to do an investigation, which they did, and $802,000 were not accounted for. NFF cannot support how the money was spent by document. So they banned Nigeria for 2 years. We were unable to receive money from 2017 to 2019. So $802,000 USD were deducted from our FIFA Forward 2.0, meaning for 2 years we were unable to collect money, and they banned us from collecting it. Then we started collecting from 2019 to 2021, which now led to the money they have to spend on the Igorodo pitch, as well as the FIFA Go project at Kebbi.
Okay.
All right. I wanted to quickly ask, it's a two-pronged question, one to Muobike. And Muobike, good evening. There's also, some allegations that, there are some set of people who are backing you in terms of your crusade against the NFF and even the Sports Commission, because I also understand that the Sports Commission chairman has also come out to refute some of these allegations. We've also seen the former NFF president, I think in another video this morning, refute those allegations. I want you to clear that. Some are saying you've got backing, some people who want to get back at the NFF are backing you. Then to Mr. Niyi as well. While these allegations came to light in the last couple of weeks, what we've also gotten, even from the media, is that this information is false. Why? Because if FIFA has not been satisfied with some of these things, they won't have given the NFF more money to progress. I think Tony also mentioned that when we had this conversation sometime, last week. Can you clear that up for us? That is FIFA satisfied with the work and the job done so far? Is that why they've continued to send in more funds to the NFF, or what is really happening?
Should I be the one to
Okay, I think we should
Muobike, if you can go first.
Okay, thank you. So your question saying some people are saying that I've got backing from people that want to get back at the NFF and all of that is very laughable, because my campaign so far has not, I honestly, I do not care about the money, how they spend the money and all those things. My question has been that, so we've had this kind of initiative to help, because NFF always comes up with these excuses about oh, we are low on funding. There's always a funding issue from NFF. And then finding out all of these things, I'm so we've had opportunities to help football development. My campaign is all about football development. What are we doing to develop football in Nigeria? So we've been having this kind of, these people, like I always say, they can't come up with initiatives And then we have these initiatives that we are supposed to, take advantage of. Now, it's not about funding issue again, because usually they will make excuses about, we are low on funding and all of those things. Now the funding has come. So why are we not taking advantages of these, opportunities to, set the ball rolling, football development in Nigeria, and which also brings up my question of the priorities. So what have these people been prioritizing? If they do not care about football development in Nigeria, then they should get the hell out of there.
Okay, Muobike, thank you so much for that response. We'll take a very short break. Niyi, Busari, we'll be back to you after this break. We can hear your response to Wale's questions, and Game On continues after this break. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On here on News Central TV. I still have Tony Bitoye and Wale Adigun with me. We're also being joined by Muobike Chigbo and Niyi Busari, who have joined us remotely as well. Niyi, you were answering Wale's question regarding, is FIFA satisfied with the current state of Nigeria's execution of these FIFA Forward projects? Is that the reason why they've continued to send more grants to Nigeria over the last few years?
The FIFA is not satisfied, or was not satisfied with what we've been doing with the money. Like I said, like I pointed out, and I share some things with you before the commencement of this program, we were being banned from 2017 to 2019, and before the resumption of the money. And when they resumed giving us another FIFA Go project money, we started doing something with it. And the way it is being done is that when they see the development of what you've done, they paid another one. To cut a long story short, the fact that they just resumed from suspension, they've completed the payment of FIFA Forward 2.0 for Nigeria. Talking about being satisfied, they came to Kebbi. FIFA sent their representative to Kebbi when they were during the inauguration. To me, what I know quite well was that the specification for each country to build the FIFA Go projects were not met. But they told them it's not completed yet, that they are going to complete. As for Iborodo community, I'm aware that on 2 or 3 occasions, they were unable, FIFA representatives were unable to get to that site because of the long distance of they have to spend on the sea. On 2 occasions, they were unable to get there. They have to go back to hotel and go back to FIFA. And one thing about FIFA is this: they always protect their member association. They will never expose them. They can never expose them. The little we had then was as a result of the fact that Nigeria were not receiving money. But this time around, I cannot say they were satisfied where they were paying, but at least they were able to show something on ground for them to see that money have been spent. Even though they were not satisfied, they continue to protect their member, and also that's why 3.0 continue. And from 3.0, you can see what is going on in Abuja right now. That is feasible for them. It's already been in the public domain, and that they have even spent almost 80% of what they have received regarding for the infrastructural development from 3.0.
Okay, you're talking about, that's the hostel that they're building right there at the Package B of the National Stadium in Abuja. Chigbo, Mogbo, I think you wanted to weigh in on what the question?
Yeah, I wanted to contribute a thing or two, but I think he already did too much justice to the question.
Okay,
he was talking about, because when the controversy rose about like when FIFA used the picture of the KB Stadium for their on their Twitter and their Facebook page, and then the uproar about a lot of people, the question, a lot of people were coming up with the question, FIFA has, what does this mean coming from FIFA? Is it that they are for or against, what NFF, the situation of the stadium, and then the people from what did they call it? The people from NFF, when they, in their own defense, they said if FIFA were not happy with the project, that FIFA, they categorically said that FIFA is happy with what they've done with their money and all that, that if FIFA were not happy, that they wouldn't continue to send money to Nigeria.
Okay, so this question I want to ask is a question I've been asking a few people over the last few days. Well, we hear that the House of Representatives are setting up a committee to investigate what the Nigerian Football Federation has been doing with as much as $25 million worth of prize monies, grants from the likes of FIFA and CAF, from different competitions, qualification for the FIFA World Cup, finishing as runner-up in the Africa Cup of Nations, and different fora like that. They want to find out what the Nigerian Football Federation has been doing with that money received over the last decade. What do you expect that the House of Federation House Committee would find, and what do you expect them to do with their findings?
Well, like they've said, they've looked interest in the issue. They want to probe and find out from NFF what they've been doing with all this money that has been coming in. I appreciate their interest into the matter, but very honestly, they are not the one I was hoping for them to actually get involved in this. We all know how, when governments, it's they are under the jurisdiction to probe NFF, but when everything goes when government gets involved, start getting political, and at the end of the day, it goes whichever way. And from comments of people that have been seeing since the news came out, people are not, people do not trust that they would do a decent job, in probing this and of anything positive coming out of it. But like I said, I appreciate them, their interest in the matter and them wanting to get involved. I believe that will get everybody up and doing now, so that everybody in the NFF now knows that, oh, we now have eyes on us. People are starting to get interested in what is going on here. And I believe it at the end of on the long run, in the bigger picture, we are going to start seeing changes. NFF can now start pretending that they are doing something, and then probably we are going to start seeing changes. So, from to answer your question, I expect that they will. What I expect them to find, I just want them to, whatever the findings are, we want it public so that people like us, the ordinary people like us, we know what is actually going on, with the federation. Because I don't know, however you want to say it, we are all part of this federation. It's not a few people's, it's nobody's father's business.
I understand.
It's our business. You understand? It's our business as Nigerians, as football lovers.
Okay.
You understand?
I get that. Muobike. Niyi, the same question to you as well. What do you expect this House Committee to find? Do you trust that they will do a good job? That's the question to you.
As that, I think Nigerians has lost hope in those processes. Don't forget, in the past, we have had EFCC, the ICPC probing the NFF, and at the end of the day, despite so many things they found against them, and it even got to a time when the former chairman of EFCC wrote to former president, late Muhammadu Busari, indicting the NFF. At the end of the day, nothing happened in that. And when it got to government agency or government parastatal or the National Assembly probing a government parastatal, it's always political. And one way or the other, as Nigerian, they know how the game will be played or is being played. And at the end of the day, most of these things don't have a good end. And at the end of the day, those who have high hope in them are always being disappointed. So to me, I'm not sure that we are expecting so much. But one thing that we can pick from all this is that the NFF can now sit tight, look forward and try to prove doubters wrong by erecting a befitting one inside the package B of a Noshu Dabiola stadium in Abuja here. Maybe that will now serve as what we can now look on and say, okay, at least we have this.
Okay,
one poster will be there.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short. A quick question: why hasn't anybody invoked the Freedom of Information Bill and asked the Nigerian Football Federation to publish these accounts and make them public so that everybody can scrutinize it and see it for what it is?
Let me talk about that. Talking about FOIB, during the investigation which I did in the past, I wrote to the Nigerian Football Federation on 4 occasions. I wrote to Ministry of Sports then on 3 or 4 occasions, and I wrote to Central Bank because the money was being paid to Central Bank. Central Bank, in their response, 3 times told me that at the appropriate time they will get back to me, but they are still making their finding. And I talk to you now, 5 years later, they are still making findings. They've never gotten back to me. As for NFF, they have never replied. Even when I have a letter with me written by Ministry of Sport forcing the NFF to respond to those questions, till now, nothing came out.
Oh. Well, we've been speaking with Niyi Busari. Niyi Busari is actually an investigative journalist with the International Center for Investigative Reporting. And we've also been speaking with Muobike Chigbo, who is a sports activist. Gentlemen have joined us remotely tonight on Game On, speaking about what has happened to funds received by the Nigerian Football Federation from sources like CAF and FIFA over the last few years, and what has been done with those funds. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight.